Hello, my name's Martine and I'm an inner self alignment specialist. Thank you for listening, and could I just ask you, if you wouldn't mind, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can be the first to know when my next audio or videos are available. Have you heard why you should make sure your happiness belongs to you? That's the topic. It's got a bit of a question to this because as I go through what I'm about to say, it's going to become clearer as to the reason why I'm saying that. And I've actually had first-hand experience when I've been working with clients and I discover that their happiness that they're looking for actually doesn't belong to them. When they were talking and we're going through the process and we're breaking it down as to how they can start to receive what they truly deserve, most of the time what they truly deserve actually isn't what they are receiving. And this is because when people go into looking for happiness and wanting to feel, and it's the feeling more than anything, it's that feeling of happiness that people are really searching for. How do I feel happy? What is it that will make me happy? All the choices and the things that are out there in the world, the options, the overwhelming amount of information, the differences in levels of between people's success, people's wealths. And so therefore we're looking at that with the eyes of, well, why can't I? It's that big word can't that I always hear, and that they can't do that, or I can't receive the happiness that I want. So the question is why? Why can't you receive? Because everybody can receive happiness, but the happiness has got to belong to you. So if you can't receive happiness, it's about looking at what are you asking for? What type of happiness are you asking for? Is that your happiness? Are you looking at somebody else's life and saying, well, they look really, really happy? Because if that's the case, that can only make you feel deflated. What do you think? What do you do when you see somebody happy? What do you feel? Do you feel deflated or do you feel joy? And if you feel deflated, why? Why do you think you feel that way? What part of you is creating that sensation, that feeling? Because what happens there when you feel that you can't achieve or you can't have the happiness that you see maybe your friend or a celebrity or somebody out there that you look up to and aspire to? You think, well, I would like to feel like that. I would like to have that. There's a difference between feeling that you would like to have the happiness and feeling that you would like to have the happiness. Because that happiness or the happiness that is somebody else's, you will probably never ever feel that. One, because that person is experiencing their happiness from their own creation and it will belong to them, and that's why they are happy. And two, if you're not experiencing the happiness that you want, then it's now a time for you to look at what it is you should have rather than what you want to have. Because this is going to cause a lot of feelings of inadequacy, a lot of feelings of blame, a lot of feelings of that big word, can't. And you can think and assume people are happy, but you don't know what is going on inside them. I've recently come across a couple of posts. One was about a young man who had actually committed suicide. Now, days before he'd committed suicide, if you saw his Instagram, it looked like he was the happiest person alive. There was pictures of him abroad with his family, with his friends, laughing. The smile on his face was just made you smile just by looking at it. But he committed suicide. So when you're looking at people's happiness, you don't know what that happiness is involving. You don't know what is behind the happiness. I've also got clients who have to hold down a job. They've got their own business. They've got to bring in clients of their own. They're portraying themselves to be very, very happy people. Because if they portrayed themselves as to how they truly felt, they wouldn't get business because the clients would lack confidence. So depression. People are out there coming away from their day job, coming away from the outside world feeling really depressed. But what they're portraying is a happiness. And this is why when you're looking at somebody else for a happiness and you don't know what that happiness is, you are creating an energy that is going to give you what is going on behind the happiness. And this is why you get the feelings. So it's being mindful as to not always be looking at what you think is happiness, and make sure that your happiness belongs to you. So let's have a look what I've done with the words, because I've actually used a word that's related to happiness in my work. Because for you to have happiness, it needs to be delivered. So you need to have a delivery of happiness to come to you. And that delivery, as we know, when we're having a parcel delivered, it has to belong to you. If you go and open the door and the postman says, I've got a parcel for you, and then you look at it and it's a different name, you think, oh, well, that's not for me. It belongs to so-and-so next door. Or the postman comes and says, oh, would you mind taking this for the person next door? So there's a delivery that comes. If the post is saying it's for you, excitement comes in. You know it's for you. You know you ordered it. You know what you ordered. You know that it may not fit, it might fit if it's an item of clothing. On the other hand, it might go perfectly because you actually ordered the exact thing that was right for you. And that is the exact same thing when you're looking for your happiness. And I say, don't look for it. Because when you look for it, what you're telling the universe is that you don't already have it. And in actual fact, you do. It's just that you're not allowing yourself to experience it. So delivery, what have I used for the word on each letter? So the D, I've used the word derelict. Now why I've used the word derelict is because when you're looking, like I said, out there for something, a happiness, you're looking for something. You have a house, so you have a house of material and you have a house of your body. In your house of material, bricks and mortar, if you don't stay in your house and keep it tidy and keep it clean and look after it and pay the bills, make sure everything is nice and how you want to live. If you neglect it or don't come home to it, eventually that house is going to become derelict. There's going to be no life in there whatsoever. There's going to be nothing that's going to keep it maintained. There's going to be nothing that's going to, give it that energy of bringing it to life. We've all seen derelict houses, and some end up being knocked down, and some end up people coming to take them on and do some complete magnificent transformations because they're putting something in to the house, to that house. They're not going to go and buy things for that house and change that house that will fit or belong in somebody else's house. It's their own personal taste. And this is the same thing with yourself. When you start to move out and look at other people's lives, you're trying to furnish your home, yourself, with somebody else's aspirations, somebody else's desires. But then they're not yours. So you'd get fed up and bored of it, so you'll always be searching for another. I liked it, but no, I've gone off it now. I don't really want it because it wasn't yours in the first place. You'll find some of the things that you have in your possession, in your life, you will have had them for a very long time, and there's a reason for that. Now let's look at E. I've used E for excuse. Because when we're looking for happiness and when we're out there, we make so many excuses as to why that person has it and why you don't have it. There's always that saying, well, they had help from the family, or she had a great education, or he just fell in muck and come out smelling of roses. There's always that, there's something and a reason behind it. There's an excuse that you put into play for why you haven't received. Because there's nothing else that you can actually do, to be honest. Because once you're in a place of constantly looking at what everybody else has got, you're not paying attention on what you can get. And if you're not paying attention on what you can get and you're showing the world that you haven't got certain things in your life, there's an embarrassment that comes with that. And with an embarrassment, we've got to have an excuse because you don't want people to think that you're not doing anything about your life. So you make up excuses as to the reason why you're not happy or the reasons why you haven't got what you think you should have. Now let's look at L. L, I'm looking at look. So look inside or look outside. You have a choice. This inside, I will, on my courses and on my workshops, I always go into deeper what the meaning of these words are, because there's a journey that you need to take to discover that inside. But when you're looking on the inside or you're looking on the outside, there's normally two different views. And this is what you need to be looking at, is to look, really look, but look from the inside instead of looking on the outside, because you will only receive what goes behind the energy that you are perceiving is happiness. I have irritated. Life becomes irritating when you don't receive what you want to receive, especially when you've got the intelligence, especially when you know deep down that you can achieve things and you can have things. You wonder why. Why can't I be happy? There's that word again. Just a 4-letter word, but a big word. Because that is a huge block that can't. It's a huge block. And so when we're looking at this, we start to get irritated. We feel that we're missing out on something in life. And you are. So the feeling is true. And you're missing out because of the derelict house, the derelict mindset. You're missing out because of the excuses. You're missing out because you're not looking on the inside. So you become irritated because there's something that you want and you're not able to access it right now. And then, of course, the next letter is V, and that is going to validate. Validate is what you get. You will get everything in your life that will validate the reason and the excuses that you proclaim. It has to, because it's got to give you that backup. You've got to have something to back you up. So you will create the people, you will create the situations to validate your excuses and why you are irritated and what you are looking at and what is a derelict around. Now E, again, I've put end. End the search, because you already have it. You just need to know that your happiness belongs to you and somebody else's happiness belongs to them. And once you end that energy, you will then start seeing you can start to build on your own happiness. Now R is for remember. Remember that you have to craft your happiness. It's not just going to land upon your lap. It's a craft. There's an art that goes into that. You need to kind of really embrace who you are, your wants and your needs and your should have, and separate them. And once you start doing that, you become an expert in crafting your life. And there's ways and there's techniques on how to do that. And finally, I'm looking at the letter Y, and that is yield. Because when you start to yield, you surrender. You give up the struggle. And this allows happiness to return or to be received. So I wish you happiness, and thank you for listening, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll be the first to know when the next video / audio will be available. Have a fantastic weekend ahead and speak to you all soon. Bye for now.